things happen. Life isn't always smooth. It's not always perfect. And maybe there's elements of my story you resonate with. Parents not maybe being the best of friends, or maybe there's relatives who have done some crazy stuff, or just challenges that you have internally with yourself. And whatever your story is, your past does not determine your future. Your current story does not determine your future. That actually you can make choices along your journey even now, and things you can make decisions even now that will determine where you'll end up in life and what your future will look like. None of us are set in stone. My name's Errol, and a bit about myself first of all. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm a speaker. The title for my talk today is From the Postcode to the Globe. I coach, I speak, I train, I travel around the country speaking to different leaders and school students and teachers and all kinds of people, helping them to be the best that they can be, essentially. The postcode represents a small location, a place where, you know, it's a limited place. The globe represents possibility and limitlessness. From the postcode to the globe, how to overcome limitations and realize your potential. My first one, bestseller on Amazon. My second one's called Teenpreneur, how to build a business in your teens. I'm passionate about business. I had my first company at 19 years old, and now I help teenagers like yourselves to start their own businesses. Even now, as a teenager, you can do that. And then Teenpreneur 2, and some other books. And I hope that my story says that to somebody, because I know what it's like to be in a place in life where there's no hope and no purpose. I also know what it's like to be celebrated and to be transformational in your own life, to make a difference in your community and in the world even. It's possible.
Is there anything else that helped you motivate you to start your own company?
Yeah, great question. So if you imagine, I was 19 years old, I'm sent to John, and I had no hope, smoking, all that kind of stuff, just that typical kind of background, right? No vision at all. And then John would sit me down and he'd talk to me about the challenges that the kids were facing in the community. And he opened my eye to this thing called apathy. You know what apathy is? It's just going through life, shrugging your shoulders. What you up to, mate? Nothing. What you doing later? Nothing. Apathy, right? And everyone there's a disease of apathy amongst the kids in my community. You ask anyone what you're doing, just here, just here. The reality was, I learned through John, was that there were things to do everywhere, opportunities everywhere, places to go, whatever. There's so many things to do, but people's minds were shut off. And so what was happening was, they'll get to a certain age and they'd fall off the cliff and they'd end up in gangs, drugs. They'd be great, at football, great at rapping, singing, whatever, but then they'd fall off into a life of delinquency. And my eyes were opened, and John helped me to see that. So my first thought was, how do I solve this problem? And with any business, it's always, how do I solve this problem? What's the problem and how do I solve it? And my thing was, how do I solve this problem? And so I sat with some friends of mine who owned a radio station at the time, and they were well known in the community. I asked them, I said, guys, look at this, and this is a problem here, and how do we solve it? And they were like, not really that interested, to be honest with you, but we were friends, so we talked about it. And this is what usually happens, to be honest with you, when you have an idea. First of all, those who buy in, and the adopters are usually quite slow. You get your idea, but these are the first guys I spoke to. How do we solve this? And we said, let's do a talent show. Let's get kids on stage, singers, rappers, dancers, comedians. Let's showcase them, give them a platform to express themselves, get recognized, and build something of themselves. And we loved the idea. We called it Your Time to Shine, and we basically put it together. And those guys who were with me at the start were like, is there any money in this right now? I said, not yet, but and I was like, see you later. They weren't interested. And so I ended up with a team of cousins and some other friends eventually who came on board and developed the idea. That grew. We smashed it. We managed to blag the Grand Hotel in Birmingham to give us a hotel for free for the showcase. So we had Channel 4 come and film. We had celebrities there on the judging panel. We had so many people. The place was packed out. We ran that for a few years, and that grew into a record company, record label. The kids who came through that, we then trained and developed on a professional level and showcased them internationally then through a recording company. And it just grew and developed, and it just started with that real sense of what's the problem here and how do we solve it? And if you can, that's how everything starts, right? What's the problem here and how do we solve it? Well, great question. The first thing with starting anything, right? You need to have a concept of an idea. whether it's a product or a service, you've got to have a concept. And so let's say you decide I want to start, for example, if they don't have got a business idea, let's do a real life one. I don't got a business idea, anybody? Yeah? I want to share it though. They don't got an idea that they would mind sharing? Yeah. That's a shower brush. Great. All right, so let's say I've got a business idea and it's a shower brush, right? Now, you laugh, but how many of you use a shower every day? Raise your hand. All right, there's a market, okay? Shower brushes, okay? And so first of all, I've got to clarify my concept. And so I've got a shower brush, and I need to figure out, is there demand for it? So what I don't do is go and buy 1 million shower brushes and spend £100,000 on a shop front on Oxford Street or a nice glamorous website. What I do though is I get some of my shower brushes, maybe from China perhaps, and I get a few of them, and I get some different shapes and different pipes and sizes and different hand grips or whatever have you, and I get them to my friends and family. I said, would you mind trying this for a week for me and tell me what you think of it? And they give some feedback, and they say, well, maybe it was battery powered, or maybe it was flashing lights, or maybe if it was, had some kind of handle on it, or maybe if it was able to talk to me and had AI features on it, or whatever, right? You get some feedback from all those different people, and you refine your concept. Once your concept is refined, you want to clarify your audience. So the first thing I asked the question earlier, concept, your audience, is it for disabled people, for young people, for old people, for elderly people? Who's it for, right? So your concept is your first thing, and your concept is by creating a prototype or a minimum viable product. Then your audience, who's your audience? You clarify those two things, and then you make an offer to them. And you know that the concept works and the audience is clear, and you put a price on it, and you make a pitch to your audience, and you get some feedback again, and they say, well, Kenna, that's a brilliant offer, absolutely amazing. Buy that? That's a bit cheap. You look at a price, you pitch your offer, right? Concept, audience, offer, and once you figured out they're going to pay that price for it, you get it out there. Whether you get it out there through having like a pop-up shop in the city centre or in a mall somewhere, or you do it through an Etsy online store or an Amazon online store, you start selling the thing, all right? And so that's it in a nutshell.
Hi. What do you think is the purpose of life and living?
The purpose of life is actually not that much of a difficult question, in my opinion. I'm a Christian, and so I take that answer from Scripture. Our purpose is to lead and to manage. That makes sense. So to lead in the sense of we've been given all of these resources and tools and opportunities. We are to steward what we've been given and lead, make a difference with those things. For whatever you are, whatever you're good at, whatever your gift or talent is to take that gift, that talent, that ability you have, and to be amazing at it, and to make an impact positively on your society, on your community, on your family, wherever you are. And so it's not that difficult for me. You've been given gifts, talents, you've been given the ability to think and be creative. Use all of that, grab a hold of all of that, and make a positive contribution wherever you are placed. My mindset was living for tomorrow and today. There was no hope, there was no direction, there was no sense of meaning. You with me? It was the example of John and the patience of John and the support and the time that he gave me when no one else did, that helped me to take a different direction. While my friends were all going that way, I was able to go, okay, let me try this route. And it's so important, the friends that we keep. John said to me, and I learned from John, there are 4 kinds of people in the world, 4 kinds of individual. And the first kind of person or friend I got to learn about, the friend called the adder. You all say adder for me. Come on, say it loud, say adder. And adder's the kind of person who adds value to you. They're positive, they're optimistic, they're good to be around, they're nice people. He said, find friends who add something to you, Errol. So, okay, that's cool. I'll try and do that. The second kind of friend is a friend called the taker. Can you all say taker? Takers are always negative. They're inherently negative. They complain, they moan, they criticize, they blame, they can't help being negative. They're just that way inclined. They've got a downside for every upside. The cup is always half empty, never half full. And the sad thing is they're everywhere. You know who they are. Don't look at them now, but you know who they are. Don't look at them now. Takers. The third kind of friend is a person called the divider. Everyone say divider? Dividers are worse than takers. Dividers are what my friends were like growing up. Dividers are the kind of friends that are toxic. They bully, they manipulate. They always want to be in control, always have the last say. They're the kind of friend that seems to have no goal in life for themselves. They make it their goal to stop you achieving your goals. They want to hold you back, bring you down. That kind of person, sadly, they do exist too. And you've got to understand them as the dividers. And the fourth kind of friend is a friend called the multiplier. You'll say multiply. So your adders, your takers, your dividers, and your multipliers. And these are the kind of friends or people that are the most amazing kind. And this is important. Because a multiplier kind of friend that I understood through John, who was a multiplier for me, is someone that when you're around them, you feel like you're 10 foot tall. Your chest comes out, your chin comes up, your shoulders go back. You feel like when you're with this kind of person, you can take on the world. They inspire you. They bring out the best in you. They celebrate you. They make you feel like you can do anything. When you're with them, you got a bounce in your step like, yeah, we can do this. That's how they make you feel. And at your age, I didn't have anyone around me like that. And I was like, do they even exist, that kind of person? Because I didn't believe they did. But now I know they do, because in every area of my life, I've surrounded myself with men and women that multiply me. And you got to be intentional about it. You got to be intentional about it. It's just amazing opportunity to change lives. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow.